Okay, I'm sick of starting this show without any sounders, so we're going to do one right now. Let's see if we can do this. See if we can hear this. There it is. Play ball! Hi, everybody. I'm Randy Timmons. You know who you are. This is my speakers. We still don't have our regular speakers, but I had to have a sounder because we're going to play some home runs today. Yay. I'm Randy, you know who you are. Come on in, pull up a chair, sit down, relax, and let's talk Dodgers. This is the only best and first video podcast by fans, for fans of your Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers still on the road. It's Friday, April the 8th, and let's talk some Dodgers, shall we? Well, let's go back a little bit. With a 7-0 victory over the Padres on Wednesday night at Petco Park, the Dodgers became just the second team in modern Major League history, to record 3 shutouts to open a season, matching a feat previously accomplished only by the 1963 Cardinals. Were any of you guys out there alive to see the 1963 Cardinals? I was. Shows you how old I am. And I kind of remember they didn't make a big deal of it at the time, but we did this year because it hasn't happened since then. Dodger pitchers also set a franchise record for starting a season with 27 consecutive scoreless innings. I want to see more of that, which broke the mark at 23 by the 74 Club. And I remember the 74 Club because I went to the 1974 World Series. Did you? I did. All right, the 63 Cardinals went 32 innings before allowing a run. The Dodgers starter Kenta Maeda, making his Major League debut, homered in his second at-bat, allowing 5 hits in 6 innings. Yimi Garcia, J.P. Howell, and Joe Blanton each followed with an inning apiece, and that was pretty cool until yesterday, and we'll talk about that. Well, we don't have to talk about that right now. Let's get into the injuries and moves and stuff like that. The team expects to have both Kendrick and Grandal back in uniform before they return to L.A. for their opening game on Tuesday. Yay! See, I missed that sounder. Yay! I'll do it. All right. And the home opener is against the Arizona Diamondbacks, as you may know. Yesterday wasn't too good. We won't talk about too much. Dodgers lost to the Giants 12-6. Boo! We don't have a sounder for that. I'll make one. Boo! And Dodgers, the only thing that really disappointed, two things disappointed me. One, Alex Wood. Actually, 3 things. Alex Wood was great for the first couple innings, but then he just fell apart. The wheels came off. And 2 things. The second thing that bothered me, Dave Roberts didn't get him in time, I don't think. Because when they come in within 1, yank the guy so they don't give up the lead. Well, he gave up the lead and everything else. And then the third thing that bothered me, J.P. Howell really wasn't himself, I guess, because now he's got an ERA of like $2 million. But starting to hear people talking about how the bullpen sucked. Yeah, well, just the other day they were great. What happened to that talk? Well, what happened to that kind of game playing? So you can go either way on that. That's why we talk about it here on Let's Talk Dodgers. Let's do, well, it's Friday. That deserves a call out. Let us do some of this. Fun stuff. So whenever I rub my hands, that means fun stuff. And starting off with fun stuff, the LA City Council yesterday renamed the street, officially they voted, renaming the street leading to Dodger Stadium after Vin Scully, whose 67 seasons as Dodger play-by-play man concludes this year. And it's the longest in sports history. The council's vote finalizes the process which started back in January to rename Elysian Park Avenue between Sunset Boulevard and Stadium Way as Vin Scully Avenue. I love it. A dedication ceremony for the sign is scheduled for Monday in time for the Dodgers opening day on Tuesday. The Dodgers earlier this week replaced the address on its Welcome to Dodgers entrance sign to read 1000 Vin Scully Avenue in anticipation of today's vote, or yesterday's vote, I guess it was. So that's pretty cool, and that's neat. Let's do some shout-outs. We got some shout-outs. These are people, all these fine folks have checked in with us on the Facebook page, or their personal friends. Ruben V., Jose R., Andrew M., Ron S., Billy G., of course, Lynn's favorite, Kathy E. I'll give one out to my buddy Bobby K., who said the bullpen sucks. Yeah, they did yesterday, Bobby. What about them other 3 games? Okay, David C., he's going next week, opening week. Way to go, David C., and a few others. All these fine folks, as I said, have checked in with us on our Facebook page. You can, too. Just go to Facebook and look out for Let's Talk Dodgers, okay? And in Twitter, it's at Let's Talk Dodgers or at Randy Trumpet to get to me. And on our YouTube page, it's Let's Talk Dodgers 13. And if you click on that, when you get to that page, click on the Let's Talk Dodgers 13 part, it'll put them all in order, hopefully. If it doesn't do it, something's not working right. Stats of the day, we got a gang of them, but I'll give you a couple of the coolest ones I found. And, of course, the best ones always come from Elias Sports Bureau. And they said the Dodgers' 29 unanswered runs to the start of the season were the most in baseball history. besting the 23 unanswered runs by the National League Championship 1974 Dodgers, back in 74. By the way, did you know, this is another weird stat, I think I mentioned this the other day, if not, you'll hear it again. Did you know that out of the 30 teams in the major leagues, only 3 opened the season with nobody on the DL? That's ludicrous. Yeah, there were the Giants, the White Sox, and the Twins. Those are the only 3 teams to not have anybody on the DL to open the season. Well, I always say it, it's a game of injuries. That's why the Dodgers are stacked, man. They're deep. They got tons of people at the major league level and in the minors ready to go in case somebody goes down, and we don't have to worry too much about them, although some could argue that, like Bobby Kay, the bullpen, not too stellar yesterday, but they were great the first year. Can't be perfect all the time, man. Nobody wins 162 and doesn't lose any. Okay. Also, this is where we get to the good stuff also. The other day was a very powerful debut for Kenta Maeda. Made a great first impression on Dodger fans, throwing 6 shutout innings and clearing the fence in the 4th inning for his first Major League home run. No surprise there because there's a couple things you need to know about Kenta Maeda. He hit 2 in the Japanese leagues in his 8 years there, and in batting practice he was hitting them out like they were nothing, and which he won a couple of bets with Dave Roberts. They were talking about it on TV the other day. They were in batting practice, and Maeda had one of his fancy bats, and he was hitting them out like with regularity. And Dave Roberts' son says, "Hey, wait a minute, get one of those other pitchers." Well, the other pitchers came over and took his bat and started hitting home runs with it as well. So Roberts said, "Hey, Kenta, get one of those other pitchers' bats and see if you can do the same thing. If you get one out in the first 5 pitches, I'll owe you a dinner." First pitch up there, out of the park, Kenta won a dinner from Dave Roberts. And I think, rumor has it, he bet him, "Hey, man, if you do that in a game, I'll owe you another dinner." Well, guess what? That's what happened. He hit one in the game. We'll hear in just a minute. And this is a neat stat. The only Dodger pitcher prior to Maeda to hit a home run in his Major League debut is a guy that goes way back in the 1940s, Dan Bankhead. He was the first black pitcher to play in a Major League game in the 20th century, and he debuted for Brooklyn on August 26, 1947, several months after Jackie Robinson first appeared in Dodger Blue. Bankhead homered in his first Major League at-bat that day against Pirate starter Fritz Ostermuller, and that would turn out to be Bankhead's only 4-bagger in the major leagues. Interesting. And the last stat we have before we get to the home runs themselves. Dodger right fielder. Did anybody notice this? Nobody's talking about it. Dodger right fielder Yasiel Puig had a tremendous first series and followed up with 2 hits yesterday. Puig is now 8 for 15, good for a .533 average. Are you kidding me? Of course, it's a small sample size, I know. And that's so far in the season. He's got a homer, 2 triples, 6 runs scored, 2 walks, hit by pitch, and 4 RBIs in 4 games against the Padres and Giants. Give you a thumbs up for that one, Yasiel. Looks like he's coming back to me. Puig has reached base safely in 11 of his 18 plate appearances. Good for a 1.611 on-base percentage. Are you kidding me? It's outrageous. I love it. All right, keep it up. Keep up the fine work, Yasiel. All right, let's hear those home runs. We're going to do it by reverse speakers today. Let's hear, firstly, the one by Kenta Maeda was just great. And it's also, here's a stat for all of you on Crappy Mike Day again. Hi, Crappy Mike. It's the first home run call of any Dodger this season or ever by Joe Davis. Let's check it out right now, and let's talk Dodgers.
Maeda hits a high fly ball to deep left field. Kenta Maeda has arrived with a home run.
Very cool, Joe. Very cool. I like it. I like it. And yesterday, amongst all the losing, well, he brought us within 1 run until we really lost it. Jock Peterson hit one out. Let's hear the call right now.
There's a high fly ball to right center field. Carrying well. Back on it is Span, and he's done it. On the first pitch, he goes after it and hammers a 2-run homer to right center. And the Dodgers back to within 1 here in the 8th.
Yeah, it wasn't enough, though, because they went on to lose, of course. But it was getting close, and it showed me one thing. The Dodgers were starting to come back. We didn't see hardly any comebacks last year. So I'm thinking that's a good thing. I know all you guys out there that don't think it's a good thing, but, you know, you can't win them all. We know that. But to come back like that when they were kind of down by, 3, 4 runs, whatever it was, that's pretty good, even though we lost 12-6. All right, this day in Dodger history, this is a neat one. And we like to tie it in because it is Flashback Friday. Do we have a sounder for that yet? Not yet. But on Flashback Friday, here's our date in Dodger history. On this date, April the 8th, 1994, Chan Ho Park becomes the first Korean to play in the major leagues when he makes his pitching debut at Chavez Ravine. In 1 inning of the work, the 21-year-old native of Korea gave up 2 runs on 1 hit, walking 2, striking out 2 batters, and the Dodgers 6-0 loss to Atlanta. It wasn't really his loss because we were already losing. But today, on this date in history, in 1994, Chan Ho Park, and of course, Flashback Friday. This is not a real one. It's a reproduction of a Donruss rookie card from 1994 of Chan Ho Park. There he is. Yep, on this date in 1994. And I remember that was pretty cool. And he's still around in the Dodger organization. I think he's part owner with the O'Malleys of Vero Beach in Florida. They bought it back. All right, got to get you out to the ballpark because that's an important thing. Friday, April 8th. It's a 7:15er tonight at AT&T Park. And making his Major League debut and in the 5th starter role, Ross Stripling. And we'll tell you about it in just a second. He goes up against right-hander Matt Cain. And that's going to be on Sportsnet LA, AM 570, KTNQ. Dodger right-hander Ross Stripling is set to make his Major League debut tonight following 3 seasons in the minor leagues, with 1 year interrupted by Tommy John surgery in 2014. Stripling's 26. He was the Dodgers' 5th-round selection in the 2012 first-year player draft out of Texas A&M. Texas native is 12-10 with a 2.83 ERA in 55 career minor league games. Good luck, Ross. We're clapping for you. We're rooting for you tonight. I want to see all you Bay Area Dodgers represented well on TV tonight. Shout out to the Bay Area Dodgers, okay? All right. They've been representing very well. I want to see more of that in the stands. And I don't want to hear any. I want to hear, if we're ahead, I want to hear some "let's beat the Giants" type stuff. None of that. Let's beat LA. I don't want to hear that. All right, drown those guys out. So that's going to be tonight. On Saturday, the matchup for April 9th, it's a 105 game if they don't get rained out. It's supposed to rain up and down the state, so this is in case they don't get rained out. 105 game, left-hander Clayton Kershaw should make his 2nd start. He's 1-0, of course, yay. And he's going up against their left-hander Madison Bumgarner. He's 1-0 with a 5.40 ERA. Of course, Clayton has a 0 ERA because not any runs. Sportsnet LA. Now, that one's going to be out of market on Fox Sports 1. So those of you who are out of the LA market, check out Fox Sports 1. That might be a game you could watch. We'll see. You let us know. Write to us at Let's Talk Dodgers. Also on Sunday, it should be a lot clearer everywhere in the state. April 10th, also a 105er. That's going to be left-hander Scott Kazmir making his 2nd start. He's also 1-0 with a 0 ERA. And he's going up against one of their aces also. Johnny Cueto looking pretty good this year. He's 1-0 with a 1.29 ERA. Should be a good one. Also Sportsnet LA. And nobody right now is beaming the signal on live stream. As near as I can tell. I'm still checking out for our Roberto friend. Remember to write to us. Tell your friends. Let's Talk Dodgers at gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook at Let's Talk Dodgers. And Let's Talk Dodgers 13 on YouTube. And I'm pretty sure that's going to do it for this weekend. I hope you have a great weekend. And I hope you enjoy all the great baseball coming. I hope we see some wins. You know, let's win this series. We need to win some games, guys. Let's beat those Giants. Right now we're tied, but who's scoreboard watching? Yeah. Anyway, this is Randy. You know who you are. Come on back on Monday. Pull up a chair, sit down, relax, and let's talk Dodgers. We'll see you.